What's up, everybody? Scott Lennard here. I'm back with another episode of Scott's Winning Sports. I'm here with my dad today, and we are here for our college football and NFL predictions for the weekend. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Los Angeles Dodgers on winning the World Series. They absolutely deserve it. They've had the best season out of any team in baseball this year. They were the best team from start to finish. And I wanted to say how proud I am to be a Rays fan with making it to the World Series this year. All we need is just a little more offense, and then we probably would have won the World Series this year. But let's move into the predictions. First off, in the non-conference game of the week for Scott's Winning Sports this week, UCF on the road at Houston tomorrow on ESPN Plus, 2 o'clock. I'm going to take UCF. I think our defense played well last week. I think they'll play well again this week. I'll take UCF on the road against Houston.
You know your season's not going great when you're on ESPN Plus, but that's okay. We can continue hopefully in the winning column. I think we will beat Houston. They're not very good. So give me UCF against Houston on the road.
Next up, Missouri and Florida on the SEC Network alternate channel. I'll take Kyle Trask in Florida to rebound after 2 weeks off after that loss to A&M 2 weeks ago. I'll take Florida to rebound against Missouri.
I agree. I think Florida gets a win, but I think Missouri's going to make this really close. Missouri played Alabama, in retrospect, pretty tough. Closest game all year for Alabama. And they also beat LSU, so I think Florida's got their hands full, but they'll win a close game.
I think it was Ole Miss that gave Alabama their closest game of the year so far. But
yeah, fair enough.
Next up, Boston College and Clemson. No Trevor Lawrence tomorrow for Clemson after he tested positive for COVID, but it's not going to matter. Give me Clemson to get a home win against Boston College.
Truth is, as talented as Clemson is, I could come out at age 52, play quarterback for Clemson, and we would still win. Maybe not by much, but give me Clemson as well against Boston College.
Next up, Georgia and Kentucky. Should be a good football game on Saturday. Unfortunately for my buddy Terry Jewell, I have to take Georgia in this game. I just don't think Kentucky's good enough right now to hang in there with Georgia. So I'll take Georgia on the road against Kentucky.
You know what? Most people are picking Georgia in this game. I should pick Georgia in this game, but I'm not going to. There's a guy by the name of Terry Jewell who's a huge fan of Kentucky. Kentucky actually has looked pretty good this season at times. I think Kentucky springs the upset against the Georgia Bulldogs. Give me the Kentucky Wildcats.
Next up, Memphis and Cincinnati. Should be a good game on Saturday. Uncle Lou was just saying this past week on LouTube that he's saying that this team could be a potential playoff contender this year in Cincinnati. So I'll go with Cincinnati to get it done at home against Memphis.
Did you just say LouTube?
Yes.
Cincinnati's the only team out there that can play any defense in the AAC. Memphis will probably score their points, but I think Cincinnati's going to get the win. They've got a better defense.
Next up, Michigan and Michigan State should be a great game. Michigan favored by 23.5 tomorrow in the Big House. Give me Michigan to get a win at home against Michigan State.
I agree. I don't think Michigan's going to cover. I think it'll be a little closer in a rivalry game, maybe a 2-touchdown type game, but I think Michigan does get the win.
Next up, Kansas State and West Virginia should be a good game. Give me Kansas State over West Virginia on tomorrow. I think Skylar Thompson will play well if he's still at Kansas State. I don't know. I'll take Kansas State over West Virginia.
Kansas State's very good at home. They're not great on the road. I think the Mountaineers pull off the win here.
Next up, Coastal Carolina and Georgia State. Georgia State, I think, pulled off an upset earlier this year. I just can't remember who that was against. But I'm going to take Coastal Carolina on the road to get it done against Georgia State.
Not me. I think Georgia State springs the second upset. I think it was Louisiana and Lafayette I think they beat. But I think it's going to be Georgia State in the win.
Next up, Iowa State and Kansas. Give me Iowa State to get it done on the road against Les Miles and Kansas.
Les Miles, I mean, no one's ever won at Kansas. Les Miles is no different. Iowa State gets a win.
Next up, Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. Notre Dame might look ahead to next week when they play Clemson, but I don't think it's going to matter. Notre Dame gets the road upset, gets the road win against Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech seemingly was a good team at the beat Florida State at the beginning of the year, but they're not. They're terrible. They gave like 73 points to Clemson. Notre Dame wins big.
Next up, probably the biggest upset of the week last week is Indiana heads in to New Jersey to take on Rutgers. No question here for me. I will take Indiana to get another win. They pulled off a huge upset last week over Penn State, so I think they keep it going. Give me Indiana over Rutgers.
Typically in a game like that, after the lesser team upsets a really good team, they let down the week after and they struggle. Fortunately for Indiana, they're playing Rutgers. Otherwise, I think they would struggle this week. Indiana in a close one to Rutgers.
Next up, Texas and Oklahoma State. I will go with Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State to get a home win in Stillwater against Sam Ehlinger and Texas.
I like this Oklahoma State team. I think they're going to win the Big 12. They may even go undefeated. Give me Oklahoma State to beat Texas.
Next up, Boise State and Air Force. Boise State back into the top 25 after the win last week. Give me Boise on the road against Air Force.
I think this will be a fairly close game because Air Force is unconventional offense, but I think Boise State has more talent. They get the win.
Next up, Mississippi State and Alabama at home in Tuscaloosa. Give me Mac Jones and Alabama to get a win at home against Mississippi State.
It's going to be a high-scoring game, I think. I think Alabama might score in the 60s. Give me Alabama.
Next up, Ohio State and Penn State in Happy Valley tomorrow, University Park. Give me Ohio State on the road to get it done against Penn State.
Before the season, I thought this would be a really tough game for Ohio State, probably their best chance to lose. But after watching Penn State play against Indiana last week, I think Ohio State's going to win pretty easily.
Next up, Arkansas and Texas A&M. Give me Texas A&M to get a home win in College Station tomorrow against Arkansas.
Arkansas is definitely much improved. I think they'll give Texas A&M a pretty good game, but I like the Aggies in this one.
Next up, Navy and SMU. Give me SMU to pull off the road home up win against Navy.
SMU's won a lot of close games. I think this will be no exception. I think they'll win a close one against Navy.
Next up, North Carolina and Virginia. Give me Mac Brown and North Carolina to get it done on the road against Virginia.
I agree. North Carolina bounced back last week, getting a pretty big win against NC State. I like North Carolina in this one.
Next up, Oklahoma and Texas Tech in Lubbock. I'll take Oklahoma to get a road win in Lubbock against Texas Tech.
Again, another high-scoring game. Neither team can play very good defense, but I think Oklahoma gets the win.
Next up, Western Kentucky and BYU. Good game on Saturday. Give me BYU to pull off a home win. 30.5-point favorites on Saturday. Give me BYU at home on Saturday against Western Kentucky.
These two teams will probably never play except for the coronavirus. I think basically they couldn't schedule anybody else. So when Western Kentucky's ever been to BYU, I don't know. But I think BYU gets a win.
Now into the NFL games for the weekend. First up,
I'll take the Falcons over the Panthers.
Yeah, same.
Oh, think it would happen?
I wouldn't.
Oh,
I actually didn't. So, next up, First up, Cam Newton and the Pats heading into Buffalo to take out Josh Allen and the Bills. I'm going to put a warning on Josh Allen this week. If he does not do well this week, I'm sitting him in fantasy next week.
That's gonna kill
Give
him.
me Josh Allen and the Bills to get a home win against the Patriots.
I'm sure Josh Allen's really worried about being sat on your bench in fantasy football. The Patriots really are not very good right now, and the Bills are a pretty good football team. I like the Bills in this one.
Next up, Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans heading into Cincinnati to take on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Give me the Titans on the road to get a road win in Cincinnati against the Bengals.
I think this is going to be a close game. Cincinnati plays every team close. They just never get the win at the end. I agree. I think the Titans will win, but it'll be a close one.
Next up, the Las Vegas Raiders heading into Cleveland after that butt spanking that the Bucs gave them last Sunday. Give me the Raiders to get a road win and a road upset against Baker Mayfield and the Browns.
I'm not sure which Browns and which Raiders team is going to show up. They've both been pretty inconsistent this year. But I'm actually going the other way. I think the Browns will get a win at home.
Yeah, that game could go either way on Sunday.
Sure.
Next up, Indianapolis and Detroit. Give me Phil Rivers and the Colts to get a road win in Detroit against the Lions.
Lions have been an up-and-down team all year. The Colts play pretty good defense. I like the Colts on this one.
Next up, Case Keenum and the Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota
Is that
Vikings
Case Keenum still in the league?
heading into Lambeau to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. the number one seed in the NFC right now, the Green Bay Packers. I will take Green Bay at home to get it done against the Vikings.
Vikings have been one of the biggest disappointments in the NFC this year. I think that'll continue this week. I like the Packers.
Next up in the biggest blowout game of the week, it will be Sam Darnold and the New York Jets heading into Kansas City to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Boy, tough pick. I'm going to take the Chiefs at home over the Jets.
What's the spread?
20.5.
I'm going to take I think Kansas City will beat the Jets by more than 20.5.
Yeah.
I like the Chiefs in this one by at least 3 touchdowns.
Next up, Jared Goff and the Rams heading into Miami to take on the debuting Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. This game is actually on Fox for me on Sunday. Thank God, I can actually have a game to watch on Sunday. I'll take the Rams to get it done at home on the road in Miami against the Dolphins.
Dolphins have been a crazy team this year. They've played really good teams pretty well. They went in there and thumped the 49ers. But I still think with Tua's debut, I think he's going to struggle a little bit. I got the Rams in this one.
Next up, in my opinion, this game should be the Sunday night game of the week, as it'll be Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I will take the Baltimore Ravens to get a home win over the Pittsburgh Steelers here on Sunday.
Again, I've got a guy out there, Terry Jewell, Pittsburgh Steelers fan. This is going to be a close game.
Yep.
I think his fandom is going to push the Steelers over the top and get a road win against the Ravens.
Yep.
Mark it.
I can see this game going either way.
Book it.
I can see this game going either way.
Sure.
Next up, Chargers and Broncos. Give me Justin Herbert and the Chargers to get it done on the road against Drew Lock and the Broncos.
Broncos just are so offensively challenged. I think the Chargers also are going to get the win, but I think it'll be a close game.
Next up, Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints heading into Chicago to take on Nick Foles and the Bears. Give me Nick Foles and the Bears to rebound after a tough game last week against the Rams. With no Michael Thomas again this week for the Saints. Give me Nick Foles and the Bears to pull it out at home against the Saints.
I picked against the Bears almost all season, and I've been wrong almost all season. I'm not going to make the same mistake again. I'm going with the Bears to win against the Saints at home.
They might lose this game, honestly.
They might.
Next up, San Francisco and Seattle. Seattle coming in after a loss last Sunday night in that thriller against Arizona. And the Niners coming in off a win against New England. All of the offensive players for the 49ers this week are out. So I'm going to take Seattle to get a home win, a close home win against Jimmy G and the Niners.
I think Seattle is really going to bounce back after last week's loss. I think they beat the 49ers, but I think they'll beat them by at least 10 points.
Yeah. Next up, Dallas and Philly. What a game this will be on Sunday night if you like a team that's going to make the playoffs.
Definitely should be prime time.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is on Sunday Night Football. Give me Carson Wentz and the Eagles to get a home win. Ben DiNucci might be starting for the Cowboys this week. I'll take the Eagles over the Cowboys.
You know, the Cowboys are terrible right now, and the Eagles are slightly better. That is the worst division maybe in the history of football, but I think the Eagles are going to get the win. It could be the Eagles or the Redskins win that division. I don't know.
Maybe the Giants. We'll see.
Yeah, who knows?
Next up, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading into New York on Monday Night Football. This game's over as soon as the Bucs get to the stadium. Give me Tom Brady and the Buccaneers to blow out Danny Dimes and the Giants. This is a revenge game for the Buccaneers after we let them win last year in Tampa and against us last year. I'll take Tom Brady and the Buccaneers on the road in New York to get it done against the Giants.
Scott's overconfidence scares me a little bit. Plus, Brady's kryptonite over the years has been the Giants. With that said, I think the Bucs will win, but I don't think it'll be a lot. I think it'll be closer than people expect.
I think it'll be like a 21-point win or something like that.
Interesting.
And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Weekly Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back next week with some more NFL predictions. Until then, stay safe, everybody, from this COVID-19 pandemic. And
Vote! Go vote!
And I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Weekly Sports. See you later, guys.
See you guys.